When my son was 3 years old, he thought the word asshole specifically referred to bad drivers. Proof that even while driving around town with your kid, you can always have teachable moments. It's like there's a reflex in my vocal cords. When another driver runs a stoplight, I simply blurt it out, asshole. If someone in front of me drives too slow, it's the same thing. It's sort of like low-grade Tourette syndrome. But with the exception of my potty mouth, I think I'm a pretty decent driver. I let people slide in front of me if they indicate they need to get over. I'm always careful to not block intersections. I don't mean to sound holier than thou, because trust me, I wasn't always this way. In the mid-90s, I moved to my girlfriend's hometown, New York City. I swore to Allie that I'd never drive in that place. I came from a small town where I'd have to wait behind the wheel while farmers walked their herds of cattle down the road. But when I got a job at CNBC across the Hudson, I succumbed to the fact that I needed to tackle the streets of Manhattan, and I became probably the only person who commuted daily by car from Park Slope, Brooklyn to Fort Lee, New Jersey. New Yorkers are aggressive no matter what they do, and I joined in the fray. Whenever someone tried easing into my lane, I sped up so that my bumper hovered just inches from the car in front of me. "Don't try cutting in front of me," I yelled. "Didn't you see the merging sign back there? Asshole." Once, when I was hurling down 4th Avenue in Brooklyn, I saw a car at an intersection, standing completely still, even though the light was green. Clutching the steering wheel, I screamed, "Go, go, go, you stupid motherfucking cocksucker son of a bitch!" Allie, who was sitting next to me, hollered with an abrasive crescendo, "Shut up, shut up, shut up!" 3 months later, we got married. After a beautiful weekend celebration, the two of us headed off on our honeymoon to Italy. This is a place that made New York driving feel like a ride through the country. Little Fiats swerved right in front of me. I found myself stuck in roundabouts with no way to get out, and I circled around and around, drowning in a whirlpool of cars. Whether we were in Florence, Tuscany, or Portofino, every time I got behind the wheel, my heart raced and I sweated profusely. Then my eyes started to twitch. One look at that rental car made my eyelids squeeze down tight and pop open again. My eyelids flicked from side to side. This honeymoon was majorly stressing me out. When we got back to the States, my tics didn't subside. Now my eyes blinked and flapped at the office, during dinner, while watching TV, even while going to the bathroom. This continued for weeks. One evening, I picked Allie up from work, and the two of us headed over to Kate's Papery, a high-end stationery store in Manhattan. The cool June evening was a perfect start to the weekend. We stood at 7th Avenue and Union waiting to cross. Allie held my left hand, while my right hand clasped the handles of the large paper bag holding the stationery. When the light turned green, we stepped off the curb into the crosswalk. Just at that moment, a large, beat-up, rust-colored Buick Skylark peeled around the corner, nearly taking the two of us with it. "Watch where you're going, you fucking asshole!" I shouted. I took the bag of stationery and swatted the back bumper of the vehicle. The car screeched to a halt in the middle of the intersection. The driver's side door flung open, and out jumped a very large man. Everything happened so fast. It was only when we spoke to the police that I had the composure to come up with a description of the guy. The man looked and sounded like he belonged to the Russian mob. He was extremely overweight, wore a cheap yellow button-down shirt, and smelled of cigarettes. He lumbered toward me, leaving his Buick stranded in the middle of the intersection, door wide open, blocking traffic in every direction. Like a small woodland creature, I realized I had just provoked a bear. I turned and ran as fast as I could. I flew by brownstone after brownstone in my attempt to escape the maniac now at my heels. Behind me in the distance, I heard Allie cry out, "Somebody help me! Call the police! That man is after my husband!" Leaping over a pile of dog shit, I thought, she just called me husband. I wasn't used to that. It sounded so weird. Still, I carried on. My right hand clung tightly to the case papery bag, the large, unwieldy catalyst for the events that now transpired. The bag bounced against my legs, slowing me down. I should have chucked it in some bushes, but we'd spent so much time picking out those thank you cards, and they weren't cheap, so I clung on. Fortunately, I was more spry, and before I reached 8th Avenue, the huffing beast slowed down and plodded back to his car. Meanwhile, my wife stood in the middle of the intersection, notebook out, taking down the license plate. As the man got closer to Allie, she screamed at him, "Leave us alone!" The monster continued toward the intersection. Get away from him, I thought. Stop provoking him. Don't yell. Get the fuck out of here, she yelled. Oh God, I thought, he's gonna attack her. I quickly caught up with the man, ready to intervene if he laid a finger on my wife. Out of nowhere, the thug spun a 180. I never saw it coming. His clenched fist, hard like a hammer, landed squarely on the side of my face. The force from the blow wrenched the stationery bag from my fist, and the bag exploded over my body. I laid on the ground, motionless, amidst a billowing whirlwind of organic papyrus infused with cotton threads, dried petunia petals, and cherry blossoms. Any smidgen of manliness I had left was gone. As the parchment settled, the man thrust his finger at me and said, "That will teach you to kick car." Oh my God, I thought, this guy thinks I kicked his car. Instantly, I wanted to correct the situation. No, I didn't kick your car. See, you cut us off back there while we were trying to cross the street, and so I gently tapped your car with this bag to get your attention. I didn't really hurt your car, I wasn't even trying. I mean, how much damage can a bag of note cards do anyway? Besides, what are you worried about? You drive a 10-year-old Buick. A dent to your fender could only improve your piece of shit car. Was it really worth hitting me, you dick? At least that's what I wanted to say. But I remained splayed on the ground, clenching my jaw. Several minutes passed and the rust Buick bucket still blocked the intersection. The Buick heaved as the rotund man eased in the driver's seat. He slammed the door closed and peeled away down 7th Avenue. Allie ran over to me. "Your mouth, it's bleeding." My ears rang and my teeth felt completely numb. Dazed, I collected the paper off the ground and placed it gingerly into the torn bag. We walked a half block south to the fire station for help. One firefighter handed me a bag of ice for my mouth while another called the police.